everyone, it's Lexi and welcome back to another episode of The 20 Effect. I am so happy that you're here today because I would like to introduce a very special guest. This girl and I have lived together for the past 2 years, and this is actually the week that we're moving out of our apartment. So it's very bittersweet, but for one last hurrah in this amazing apartment that we filmed in and everything like that, I would love to introduce my roommate, Karrera Nevins.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so Karrera and I met, I want to say around, obviously it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And today's topic, I really want to talk about having roommates in your 20s because I feel like it's so important and so something that like everyone in their 20s goes through, but also just like the life lessons you learn from having a roommate. And I think our story is so cool, and I will always just like appreciate and love the like memories that we've made here, but also just like the late night conversations we've had. And we've also like grown up together the past 2 years, which is so cool and so crazy. But would you like to tell the people a little bit about you?
Yeah. So I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and I did not grow up in a Christian home, but we always believed in like a higher power. And around my junior year of high school, I became a Christian, and I ended up going to GCU, and I studied entrepreneurship there, and now I am working for a hospice company for volunteer coordinating, and
Yeah. So like I had kind of said, Karrera and I met 2 years ago. Literally, we met through Facebook. And
yeah, crazy.
You had gone to GCU. You were a year younger than me. So you were like kind of had just graduated, I want to say, looking for a roommate. And I had just moved to Arizona, was living with family at the time. And I was looking for a roommate as well. Wanted to live close to GCU, and we literally, I think you had posted on Facebook looking for a roommate, and I was like, me, and I didn't hear back for a couple weeks, and then literally I got a message, and Karrera was like, yeah, let's FaceTime, would love to chat, and I think we just had a lot in common, and just were both like looking for similar things in what we wanted in a roommate, and then literally our roommate story is it like finding our apartment is insane because it was the one and only apartment we toured. Which was probably, I mean, it's been great for the past 2 years, but my advice, tour a couple, don't sign a lease with the first apartment that you find.
I had my heart set on it. The office or the lobby area was all purple, and I was like, oh, it's perfect for GCU.
And I think, honestly, I was in the space where I was just, like, desperate to find a place to live and just, like, wanted, because my cousin was in the middle of selling her house, and I was like, I didn't want to, like, implode on her at all, and so I just was so desperate. And so literally we toured the place and we signed the very same day, like idiots. We had no clue what we were doing. I had no clue what I was doing. Didn't know you had to pay for electrical and like Wi-Fi.
You did so good though. I'm like, dang, if you weren't here, I don't know what would have happened.
We went through it all together, and I remember we went to Pita Jungle down the street afterwards. And again, we had like just met in person.
Was that day?
I think it was the same day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I could be wrong, but I swear I had to like go get a cashier's check for the first time. Okay. And we literally sat in Pita Jungle and we're like, okay, we have to fill out an application and we have to make it a deposit and everything's so expensive. And we're just like, what are we doing? What is happening? We're like, we have to call APS and set up electricity.
Oh my gosh.
Is that not already included? Like, I'm confused. And then we had a whole horror story of the unit that they gave us. We literally were like moving in, like had set our stuff in the unit, and this place was absolute trash.
Were we moving in that day, or I'm pretty sure we like walked in and looked around and we were like,
we were planning on moving in.
Oh my gosh.
And then we saw the state of the apartment because you have to fill out the form of like what's wrong with the unit before you move in. And I remember everything was wrong. Like we filled up 2 sides of that paper. And we were just looking at each other and we were like, this just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
We took photos of everything. I remember my like whole family was in town and we're like, what do? We already signed a lease, and they're like, you need to fight for a better unit. So sure enough, we fought and we got a unit on the top floor overlooking the pool, much better view from prior.
Same price.
For the same price. We negotiated that. Is actually Karrera negotiated that. Yeah. You did. She called you and she was like, it's going to be $200 extra. And I was like, you tell them we're not paying more.
I was like, can I do that? Okay, I remember now.
Yeah, I gave you the little boost of like, no, we're keeping it at the same price. And so there were definitely like hiccups, in the road. But literally the whole experience was just like so funny. But yeah, so that's kind of like our whole roommate journey of how we met each other. Is there anything else that you want to add?
I would just say if you're looking for a roommate, looking on Facebook Marketplace is incredible, and know what you want from a roommate. Because I remember our first phone call, I was like, are you clean? Do you believe in God?
Little did you know. I'm actually OCD.
I thought I was. And I'm like, okay, well, the apartment's always clean, so that's nice.
The pillows have to be perfect.
The pillows have to be fluffed.
I know.
But no, it's been great. And I would just say, like, know what you're going to expect from your roommate. Yeah. And I think because of that, it worked out really well for us.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's like really good, knowing what you want in a roommate, but also like I feel like there's been so much grace in our friendship and our roommate situation of you might be meeting this person for the first time. Like I remember when we toured the apartment, that was our first time meeting each other in person. And I think back on it now and I'm like, that is insane. And it worked out so well for us actually. And I know that's not always the case, but I think we just got very lucky with like everything. And obviously it was like totally God's plan. Like that's the coolest thing, is just like based off the conversations that we've had and like getting to do life together, like watching God kind of like intricate and like write it all has been really cool.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So I want to ask you, and we can kind of tell each other, I know we've talked about this before, but what was your first impression of me when we like started living together?
Okay. I'm not too sure. I would say I think I was a little nervous because you're a dancer and like a sorority girl. I grew up a cheerleader, and at my school, the cheerleaders and the dancers they were like
I feel like that's so common too. Yeah.
But it's funny because I always grew up with dancers because my sister's a dancer. And so I've always just been like, I think dancers are amazing. And I'm like, we do two totally different sports, so no need to be competitive there, you know? But no, I just, I'm trying to think. Like, I was just excited, you know? Like, I was just super excited. And when I met you, I was like, she is so genuine. Oh my gosh. I asked her, you know exactly what I'm going to say.
I actually don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Maybe.
Because she was a sorority girl. I was like...
Wait, yes, I know the question
I was
coming.
like, do they teach you how to edit your pictures?
In a sorority. I remember this. We were on the balcony and you were like,
and I was like, please teach me your ways.
That is so funny.
No, but yeah, super genuine. And I was just like super excited for what God was going to do for us, you know,
for sure.
Our friendship and for us as roommates together. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't even think I like fully understood the capacity of how much we were going to like impact each other's lives in like the best way.
Yeah.
And I just remember just like looking at what you had posted on like that Facebook group looking for a roommate. I was like, this girl just seems so fun and so genuine and just like so charismatic and like just lives life to the fullest. And then just meeting you, like you are one of the most genuine people I know. You have the biggest heart and you just like love life and love life to its fullest and always try to like live that out. And you love people and you love people so well. Like Karrera will go and talk to strangers and like tell them about Jesus. And like, I could never do that. Like that is just a gift that you have. And I feel like you are so consistent in that way. Like just who you are is you're going to show up and be Karrera every single day. And that's like the coolest thing. So, but yeah, first impressions, I was like, this girl seems so cool. Like I'm really excited to live with her. And obviously we had our hiccups in the beginning that we can talk about too. Karrera thought I hated her for like 2 months.
A little bit. I have 2 older sisters. She is an older sister.
I am. I'm the oldest.
I very much have, I don't know what you would call it, but I would call it little sister syndrome. And you just think that like you're annoying, you're everything. And I'm like, and then we talked about it and I was like, oh, okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest like piece of advice that I would give is like communication is key.
Yes.
And even if, because I think both of us have this kind of like ability to pick up on emotions and vibes and situations and like
We're
read
both
a
very
room.
empathetic people.
For
so
sure.
you could like feel that.
Yes. And like read a room really well. And so it's like when one of us would come home and one of us was already home, like I feel like immediately we could tell, okay, they're either in a good mood or like something's off.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you just have to learn with the roommate of like, your roommate isn't going to come home every single day and like be in a good mood. Like work is hard. Life is hard. 9 times out of 10, they might not be in the best mood. And like,
and sometimes, go ahead. Sometimes they don't want to talk to you and it's not your fault.
Yes.
It's not because of you. They just are done talking.
Yeah. And it's not on you. And so I think that's been the biggest thing we've had to learn. Cause I know we both have had roommates in college, but I've never had just like one roommate. I've always lived with more than one other person.
Yeah, I think same.
Yeah. Besides my freshman year where that's like, I mean, it was communal dorms. So you're practically living with 24 other people. But it's like, this was the first time I had ever lived in an apartment with just one other person. And so it's like, you guys get close like very, very quickly. But I think that would be like my biggest advice for someone who's either looking for a roommate or living with a roommate right now is just communicate and communicate well, communicate your feelings, communicate how you're feeling. And also just like, don't take everything to heart. I know it's hard not to, especially when it's like you grow up living with your family for forever and you both are more than likely raised very like differently. Like no one's going to be raised the exact same way. And so like little things that she would say, well, this is how I did it at home. And I'm like, well, this is how I did it at home. And then trying to figure out, okay, what's a good balance for that?
Yeah. Or like, I remember we had a discussion about cleaning the floor. Yes. And it's like, either way, the floor is going to get clean.
Yes, doesn't matter if you vacuum, doesn't matter if you sweep. Neither is wrong. Neither is the wrong answer. They're both going to do the same job. Yeah. So just little things like that I feel like we can look back and I feel like laugh at now. But in the moment, I was like, I've always vacuumed my wood floors. And you're like, well, I've always swept them. And I was like, wait, what? Like, that's so crazy to me.
To be honest, I really think I like to see how much like progress I'm making, and you could see that when you're sweeping.
Yes.
When you're vacuuming, you can't see that.
And now I sweep.
Oh, really?
I sweep the floors now.
Wow.
Yes. So it's like, and I think too, like the things that you learn from each other are like so cool. Like I can say Karrera has taught me so much of like, don't sweat the big things. Like it's actually, the house does not need to be clean all the time. Things do not have to be perfect all the time. Like it's okay to let things go. And like, I try to make my bed every morning, which we can talk about that too, because that's been a funny thing in our roommate like relationship. But just like let things go. Like it's not that deep. Having fun experiences with your roommate is so much better than like fighting over if there's dishes in the sink, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I am clean.
You are clean.
But like it's just funny because I'm like, I thought I was clean. Like, I was always like the clean roommate, and I'm like, dang, like I am not. But
I'm sorry.
no, it's good. But yeah, no, there's balance to everything, and I think there's a difference between leaving your dishes in the sink for like a couple hours and then letting them pile up for a whole week, and then nobody can use the dishes. You know, so like. Definitely things like that. Like you have to be respectful of whoever you're living with. So there was something that Lexi had said about communication, and it was really because this was when Lexi and I kind of were like, I was like, does she not like me? And she kind of was just like, if I had a problem, I would tell you. Like if there was something wrong, I would tell you. And I was just like, oh, okay, like that is so much easier to know because a lot of people will kind of like have something and then they just won't say anything. Yeah. And I'm so much like I can feel that, or like I'm totally the person who like wants to clear the air and just like work through anything. And honestly, sometimes it's just like not even about you. Sometimes it's just something that they're struggling with.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, like you could either bring it up and talk about it, but half the time, like if you're gonna obsess over it, bring it up and talk about it.
For sure, yeah.
But if she's not bringing it up to you, it's probably not about you. And you could just pray, like
Yeah.
you could just pray, you know,
Yeah,
and
that's so
like pray
true.
for her or whoever your roommate is. Just pray for your roommate and like, oh, they're probably having a bad day, and just pray for them. Or if you think that it is about you, like ask that it'll be brought up, and
For
that's
sure.
you know.
Yeah, and I think if there's an issue going on, like not allowing it to fester.
Yeah.
Like I feel like my mom always kind of taught me if it's bothering you for more than 24 hours, like have a conversation about it. But I feel like letting it sit and fester and continue to bother you, it's only going to make it worse. And then one day I'm telling you, you are going to snap. Like there was a time, like a day where Karrera had like brought something to my attention, and for a while I had noticed I hate the smell of Fabuloso. I don't know, and it's so stupid to talk about.
And I'm Mexican, so we use that all the time.
And so I just like, I think I have like a bad memory with it or something. I don't know. But I just cannot stand the smell of it. And so Carrera would like clean with it. And I just remember one day she had like brought something to my attention, and I had just been like, well, I don't like the smell of Fabuloso, so can you stop using it? And it just like made it such a bigger deal. Like it's Fabuloso, for goodness sake. It's like not that deep. And I think it had just like festered. And so it was like the minute that I was like irritated or frustrated about something, I like snapped. And so I think it's good advice to just like not allow things to fester. Like communicate about the things that you need as a roommate and the things that like you need from your roommate in order to just like have a good relationship. And then I think like Carrera said, like maybe they're just having a bad day, and allowing like coming from a place of grace of being like 9 times out of 10, it's probably not about me. It's about something that is like going on in their life that you might be, because you live with them, like the
feel it.
like impact of that or like the feel it for sure. But more than likely it's probably not. So clear communication is probably like the best thing for having roommates. But okay, because obviously we have both had, I would say living with someone for 2 years has been my longest like roommate situation. But we have obviously lived with different people over the years in college and stuff. What is like one expectation that you had living with a roommate like in your 20s? Because when you're a freshman, you're like 18, 19, about to be 20. But like living in your 20s with roommates, what is like one expectation that you had that you feel like turned out to be completely wrong or like false?
Honestly, I think that I always thought that you're going to be best friends with your roommate.
Yes, I literally was going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like trying to force that to happen is not good. It, like honestly, like things start to happen more organically, but like the more you force it, the more you try to like hang on and try to like do everything with your roommate, it kind of just makes everything like, I wouldn't say worse, but it just is kind of not real, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think more than likely you guys are starting out as strangers. Yeah. And I think sometimes there's friendships where you guys can be strangers and like hit it off from the beginning and just have a lot in common and be able to become like besties right away. But I think majority of the time, like it's like any relationship, you guys are slowly growing together. You're slowly getting to learn each other. And on top of that, you're around each other all the time because you live together, and you really see each other at like the most vulnerable. You see each other in the most raw, vulnerable states when you're waking up with bags under your eyes, not looking great in the morning, or like crying your eyes out because something bad happened that day, or you're going through something hard. Like you are seeing this person at the most raw and vulnerable state. And so I think expecting, like obviously you guys are going to build a relationship from that. But you can't expect to like be besties right away.
Yeah. No, I think to have no expectations is the best thing. And like we said earlier, like know like what you need from a roommate.
Yes.
So that you're not surprised by anything, but don't have expectations above that, and kind of just let let God surprise you,
For sure. Yeah. What is, do you think living with roommates in your 20s has been more fun? Because I think, like, especially in my next chapter, I'm like, okay, do I try to get an apartment alone? Do I try to live with, like, roommates? And I'm like, I have the rest of my life to, like, live alone or live with my future partner or, like, whatever. Like, I don't have the rest of my life to, like, live with friends and, like, girls and all that. So do you think living with roommates in your 20s has made it more fun?
Oh, yes. I love having roommates. I love being around people. I have 3 sisters. I grew up with 2 of them, and we always had a full house, always had friends over. So yes, I love it. But I also know that it's good to have your alone time. And that's something that I really had to learn. I'm learning a lot of that this year, which is crazy because I only have 1 roommate this year, and we have not been home a lot together.
Yeah, we really haven't.
But even if you are living alone and you're just surrounding yourself with community all the time, like, it really is good to have your alone time and just kind of do your own thing, you know. But yeah, having roommates is honestly a blast. They're like built-in community for you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of want to go back and, like, tie that into what we were talking about earlier and just, like, wanting to be besties right away with your roommate. I feel like from my experiences, I think I had, like, always believed that too, of, like, these are going to be the people by my side. Like, we're living together, we're doing life together. Like, and I could say I have a great relationship with almost all of the people I've lived with, like, to this day, but they're not my best friends. Like, there's 1 or 2 that are still, like, my best friends to this day. But sometimes it's just like you guys live together for a year or for a couple months or more than a year, whatever it is, and you guys go on your own way. And all of the people I've lived with, I will always, like, support them and, like, be their biggest cheerleaders and, like, wish them the absolute best. But I think that was a hard thing to learn of, like, you think, oh my gosh, these are going to be, like, my people. And I will 100% say they are your people for that season. But I think, like, any relationship or friendship or season that we're in, like, we grow and change and they grow and change. And sometimes it's like we just grow apart. And so I think being okay with that too, of being like, wow, like, I hear my mom talk about it all the time of, like, her roommates that she had or the roommate she had when she was living out in LA and how fondly she talks about those memories with her. But they don't talk every day. Like, I don't even know. I think they were in each other's weddings, but like they don't talk all the time. And she still loves her and still supports her from afar, but they don't talk every single day. And I think that's just part of it too.
Yeah, I would say one thing about growing up that I've learned is all your friends that you talk to all the time, you're hanging out with all the time. When you get out of that season of life, you expect to still be talking to them all the time. And it's you don't get to. However, it's so fun you won't talk to somebody for like 2 months and then you end up calling them and it's like you have a 2-month, like 2-hour long phone call and just catching up about life. But yeah, that just makes me think of your mom and her roommate.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. I think it goes back to, like, expectations. Like, I feel like expecting to be besties with your roommate for your entire life is just an unfair expectation to put on someone. And so I think allowing room for growth and grace and just, like, okay, we just might not be in the same stage of life. And it's been so cool because Karrera and I have, like, gone through literally the same, like, seasons of life. We both were in, like, relationships at the same time. We both were going through breakups at the same time. Like, just crazy stuff that I'm like, wow, like, God put us together for a reason. And, like, I don't know what's next for the both of us. Like, I know that I will always, like, support you and love you and would love to, like, keep in contact. But I also know that, like, the next seasons that we both walk into might look very different, and like, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to go see you coaching a game.
Oh, hopefully, yeah. We'll see about that one. But okay, how do you think living with roommates has taught you about relationships, and either friendships or romantic relationships, like even thinking about future, like living with your future spouse? Like, how do you think living with roommates has kind of prepared you for that, or what has kind of taught you that in this season?
Yeah. 2 things came to mind. first is I kind of learned how to get along with anybody. So at GCU, my first year, I ended up rooming with one of my best friends, and that was great. And then second year, my best friend that I made at GCU, we roomed together. Then my third year, I actually was going to try and study abroad, and it got canceled right before we were about to start school because of COVID. And I had to move in with random roommates. I had to find just like a random room and just hop in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was so cool. My roommate was from Paris.
Wait, I did not know this. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I remember walking in and seeing a baguette, and I was like, the one from Paris is here.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, she was so cool. And it's funny because we don't, whoops, I hit this. We don't really talk that much, but I know I could reach out to her and oh my gosh, I should connect her. Wow. I have a friend who is doing a missions trip in Paris for 2 years. I should try to connect them. But anyway, just things like that. Like she's from Paris, she's Madagascar, and then I had another roommate who was also very different. Like just a bunch of girls, we were all just like very different. And I just had to learn to get along with anybody. Not that I do pretty much get along with everyone, but everybody's different. And I loved learning about different cultures and learning about how just people do different things. So a lot of the time you look for a roommate who's like you. And it's like, no, I learned how to be with people and live with people who are not like me, you know? And it was just like the coolest thing. And then the other part,
preparing you for like future relationships, whether that's friendships or like a future spouse or whatever.
Yeah. So one thing that I've learned probably in that, but just also here, you can't control everything. You cannot control everything. And especially my sister is engaged right now, and I'm so excited. They're going to get married. But her and I have been talking a lot, and she was like, there's just a lot of things, Kerr, that you're going to have to surrender because your partner is going to do something differently, and you have to pick and choose your battles. And that's kind of just the same thing that you have to do when you're living with roommates. But in this case, you're going to be living with your partner for the rest of your life. And it's like, is this worth the battle? For a roommate, you're like, I won't be living with them in a few years or something, you know? So
that's true.
I can deal with it for a little bit. But then when you're living with your partner, you have to really think about things, and you have to really think about how you're going to react, and what things really, really need, I don't know.
Like attention.
Thank you. Yeah, attention. Yeah. So, I would say that,
Yeah, no, I love that. I think with relationships in specific, and what I've kind of seen in my parents' marriage, and what my mom has told me, maybe her roommate living situation and lifestyle before meeting my dad, is just the things that you have to let go of because that relationship is so much more important.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think the same goes for a roommate situation of it's nice to have things a certain way, or have things the way that you grew up or the way that you know. But I feel like I've gained so many more skills and knowledge from living with Karrera, and just also the roommates I've had in the past, because we did grow up differently.
Yeah.
And I think the coolest thing about our roommate friendship and relationship is Karrera's family is here in Phoenix, and I feel now an extension of her family. And just being invited to Easter and events, and us being able to go to things together where it's I know your sisters and your mom and your dad and your aunt and different people in your life and then you've met my family too. And so I think it's just getting to know who they are as a person, but also who their family and friends are.
I love that.
And getting to see them in those situations where it's we're at Easter and we're at a long table of just your friends and family. And that was just the coolest thing, of being surrounded by love on a holiday where my family is all split apart, all over the country in different places, and just getting to be at a table with family, but also understand and see where Karrera comes from and how her family interacts. I think that's been the coolest thing too, is And I think what's been special about us is we've invested in each other as roommates. And I think it's really paid off and allowed us to just like benefit from each other.
Yeah, you just reminded me when your aunt and uncle came too, and they stayed in the same apartment complex as us.
Oh yeah,
that was so cool. And yeah, I got to learn about your family. I got to learn your uncle is a lot like my dad, and I was like, this is so great. This is so fun. Like, okay, cool. You know. So yeah, that is
yeah, for sure. No, I love that. Okay, so I kind of want to talk about just like the next chapter that we're both heading into, but also like reflecting on the time that we've had here. I don't want to ask like a specific memory unless you like have one, but what's maybe like one of your favorite memories or times or like thing that you've gained from living together?
Yeah, I would say, so right now I feel like I've been going through like a little bit of a hard season, and literally just Lexi kind of reminding me of like, she just been reminding me of how I am and how I like, I guess, used to be. And it's not like I used to be, it's like, this is still you. And like, even just sitting here right now and her telling me that like, oh, like you love life and you're so like free spirited. And it's so funny because I feel like I've been kind of, down a lot and just trying to figure out where to go, what to do, and all these things. And it's like I was so like free in the Lord, and I feel like recently I've been trying to figure everything out for myself, and we don't need to do that. You know, we do not need to do that because the Lord guides our steps. But yeah, I think these whole 2 years have been like a huge journey and a huge life lesson for me to just remain faithful in God. And it's so crazy because I think you and I would say kind of like like I think I was very like free spirited when we first started being roommates, and then over time, just like a lot of things happening, like with work, relationships, all that kind of stuff. Like I felt like it's been a hard year, and I felt like I kept on getting knocked down. But I feel like you have gotten very like free spirited and like all the things, and not that you weren't before, but I just see it now more. Like even with this podcast, you know, like your faith in the Lord has just grown so much, and it's beautiful, and it's encouraging, and even just like us together, I feel like we've just been. Like everything we go through, it's like one of us goes through something right before the other one. And we're just right there.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. We're just right there to like help each other up. Like that's literally been like relationships, like breakups, like literally jobs, like everything has just been like me, like the whole time. And it's just been so like the Lord has been so gracious to give us that as a gift. For sure. I think so. Yeah, I could not agree more. And even just like the times where we feel like we need to just like I don't know if confess is the right word, but just like kind of spill our guts to each other. Yes, and debrief. We might be going through something similar, but it's like one of us is there to listen and to like provide good, like sound advice. And then vice versa. Like I feel like whenever I needed to like vent about something or just like trauma dump or whatever, like you were always there to listen and like equipped and ready to like give really good advice, and like vice versa of if you were going through something hard and just needed to talk about it, like I was there to listen. And I think that's been the coolest thing of just having a roommate is, and what I like feel like I would miss out on if I were to live alone is like getting to come home. And there's some days where I just want to go to my room and like be on my phone and chill and like go to bed. But then there's other times where it's like, it's so nice to just sit and have such a deep and meaningful conversation and build build something with someone has been, I think, the coolest thing. So I'm like trying to remember if there was a specific like memory in mind, but I think just the ones that come to mind are the times that we
like sit either on this couch or like on those chairs, or one of us is in the kitchen cooking or whatever it is, and we just like get to talk about life. And like it finally gets to the point where like, okay, we have to go to bed, or like I have to go, I'm so sorry, or whatever it is. But I think just having someone there to like go through life with, but also go through the same like season of life with has been cool.
Yeah. No, it's really been incredible.
Yeah. Did you have a memory that came up, or?
I would say no. I would say because I think they're all like the little memories, because that's essentially that's what I was referring to, is like all those times. It was always, I feel like it was always late at night, but like most of the time lately it's kind of been in the mornings, because that's when we can catch each other.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Like briefly, we're both busy gals, but at night like either she would be watching TV or I'd be watching TV, and one of us would come home, we pause it, and we just start talking. And it's like exactly what we needed. And like sometimes we'll even sit there and like pray for each other, and it's beautiful. And like even just coming home and sharing stories about our day, or how like God worked in that day, is like just so inspiring and uplifting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's cool too, like on the days where one of us would come home and the other doesn't want to pause the TV, like doesn't want to talk, but it's like you do it anyways, because it's so much more important to like invest in that person. And I can guarantee you're going to look back on that moment and wish you would have just paused the TV and would have like had a conversation with your roommate.
The TV is always going to be there. Your roommate won't always.
For sure.
And it leaves an opportunity again for God to move in whatever's going on. And then like it leads to like a much more beautiful moment than you sitting there watching TV. That's always going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of going back to like us both stepping into new chapters, like how does it kind of feel stepping away from this one and moving into the next, even though I feel like we're both in situations where we don't know what the next chapter is?
Yeah. To be honest, it's a little scary. It's a little nervous, especially since everything has been happening this year. But I do just feel like I just keep on reminding myself that the Lord guides my steps. And there was a time when I was hiking Piestewa Peak, and I hiked all the way up at like sunset. So on the way down, it was completely dark, and all I had was my flashlight. And that verse completely, like I understood that verse altogether, because every one of my steps could only be in that little bit of light. And that's what I keep on telling myself right now, is like just one step at a time, just take a step and rely on the Lord. Like He's going to guide every step you take. And right now I don't know what's next. I have my job and I love my job, and I'm just, I do want to move one day if that's in the Lord's hands, and hopefully it's His will, and if it's not, then like we'll see what happens. You know,
then He'll bless like that season too.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like so bittersweet. And I don't think it's fully hit me yet. It's funny because I'm like looking around the apartment as we speak, and there's like boxes, and Karrera actually moved like her stuff out this past weekend, and I'm like starting to pack up my stuff this week, and it's just like, it's bittersweet, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, but it's like, it's been like the best journey, and it's been so special. And I literally could not have imagined like living with anyone else for these past 2 years and like doing life with anyone else. And as like funny as the memories are, like funny as like the little like, I don't know what you would call them, not arguments, but like little things that we went through, like none of it will ever compare to like the fun we had and like the amount of like life that we got to go through together. And the amount of just like growth that I feel like we've provided in each other's lives has been so sweet and so cool. And so it's like, hasn't fully hit me yet. But I'm just like, I'm sad. I'm sad because I know a chapter is ending, but I'm also hopeful and excited for like whatever's next. And I know that we're both like cheering each other on and rooting for each other in this next season, whatever it may be. Like, I want you to move more than anything. Like, if that's in God's plans, I swear the day that you find out you're moving, I need a phone call telling me, Lexi, I did it. I'm doing it and I'm moving and I'm taking that leap of faith, because we've been through the lows, you know? We've been through the lows together. And so I'm excited to like watch the highs and be able to like, oh, no, you're crying. Like cheer each other on in the highs of like life. So, yeah. To kind of like wrap everything up before we start to become a wreck and start sobbing. We can cry at dinner. It's fine. We're getting dinner after this.
Yes.
But as kind of like a last hoorah, what is the biggest piece of advice that you think you would give to someone in their 20s who's maybe struggling with their roommates, who is nervous, who's living with someone for the first time, whatever it may be? What's like a piece of advice that you would give them?
I would just say be gracious with your roommate and yourself.
Yeah.
And just try to have fun. Like, do you. Don't try to control or try to think that your roommate has to be exactly like you. We said that before. But yeah, just be yourself and be your good self.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, be gracious with yourself, gracious with your roommates, and just trust in the Lord. You're there for a reason. You're in that season for a reason. If you're with a bad roommate and it's a tough situation, I know this sounds superficial, or like we've said it, but like if you can't get out of it, like you're there, and pray and seek community and like be a light. Like for some, if you have a hard roommate, like be a light in their life and just portray like who God is. And maybe they'll see something in you and they'll want it, and they'll ask you like, what is that? And you get to tell them that it's the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I love all of that. And I think it's everything that we've like gone through too. I think if you're living in a situation that's maybe like unsafe, please, please get out. But I think so too, like thinking about it in the way of, okay, when this lease is up and when I do move out, what am I able to learn and what am I going to gain from this? Even if it feels hard in the moment and like you guys aren't getting along or you're not seeing eye to eye on things, or it just like feels wrong, like pray about it. But then also think like in the future of like, okay, what's like future Lexi going to gain from this? Or what's future Karrera going to gain from this? Like, what am I going to take away from this? Because I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you're going to look back on it and be like, oh my gosh, remember that time when with my roommates? Remember that time when? So just embracing it. And yeah, I think letting the little things go. I think the sooner we can embrace the things that we're going through, the more joy we can feel from it. So yeah.
And yeah, I would also say be honest. Like just be so honest and raw with, if you have people to talk to, great, but like your roommate's there. Yeah. And if like it just takes like one time of being vulnerable with them to like open up a place where you guys can share with each other. Maybe being vulnerable is hard, or maybe you've been vulnerable before and you've gotten hurt, but like give people a chance. Then they might surprise you.
I love that. I love that you said that. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I know it's like not always an easy thing to do, and I feel like this was just like so much fun. Like this is probably the most fun I've had and the most I've laughed like during an episode. And I mean, it makes sense. We've like lived together for the past 2 years and have seen each other in all states, but just thank you for your wisdom and your guidance. And I could not have imagined anyone else to go through these past 2 years with, and it's crazy that it's like this chapter has come to an end, but I just appreciate you so much, and I'm so glad that we could like end it and end like our last night in this apartment together.
We need like confetti.
Yes, I know. Where's your stars? We need to like throw stars up in the air or something.
They're in boxes.
Oh, but yeah, just thank you for everything. Like, thank you for everything you've done in my life, but thank you for coming on here and doing this too.
Yeah,
so
same. Thank you. Thank you for doing this podcast. I'm like, everybody who's watching, like, this girl works hard. Aww. She does a lot of things. And to do a podcast on top of it and be doing it the way you do it is amazing. And you're just incredible. And honestly, all the little tidbits of things that you've taught me and just being there, like just being there, like the hugs, you know, like you need a hug every once in a while.
100%.
But yeah, I love you.
I love you
just
too.
So thankful.
Thank you. It's been so special, so sweet and so special. So thank you. But I just want to thank you guys so much for listening or watching this episode. For more content, make sure to check out the 20 Effect podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I just want you to remember that no matter what you're going through, we're in this together. Bye, y'all.